Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the optional memorial of St. Josephine Bakhita, this saintly woman from the Sudan, who really went under some horrible indignities to the human body. My brothers and sisters, when we read the lives of the saints, we're very much humbled, aren't we? We're humbled because we look at their lives and we know that they are like any one of us. They go through situations in their life that are difficult. They go through situations in their life which are moments of conversion and joy. They go through life really struggling against vice and trying to enter into a life of virtue. Every saint has a story. Every saint has a past. And every sinner has a future. So for you and for me, when we look into the lives of saints, which means holy one, all of us are called to holiness. And God allows each of us to be graced with life. Sometimes in this life, we're called to endure the heavy weight of the cross. We go through the challenges and the difficulties that life presents to us. It's what we do with those crosses and challenges that help us to experience the grace that God floods our soul. When we look at Josephine Bakhita, we look to this woman who has been put into slavery and underwent untold indignities. When you read her life and see what has happened to her and how they have tortured her, we say to ourselves, why do people do that? Why does anyone want to hurt another human living thing, especially a person made in the image and likeness of God? I guess we could only say is because maybe they don't understand. But isn't there something within each of us, a spiritual DNA, that knows without a shadow of a doubt that the human person is a creature of God in a most unique way? I'm not saying that any living thing is not made in the beautiful mind of God, but human beings, the perfection of God's creation, a soul is within every human person, and they need to be respected. Yes, we are made in the image and likeness of God, and we see that come so clear in the person of Jesus Christ. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. When I was in prison, you visited me. Naked, and you clothed me. It also goes to show us that maybe when we did things against the human person, we did it against Christ. When we treated people terribly, we did it to the Lord. When we abused them verbally, when we abused them in a physical way, we did it to the Lord. I think we have to remember that as well, because when we look to the human person, we're not just thinking about Mary or John or Harry or Fred or Margaret or Susan. We're thinking of Jesus Christ. It's not that person. It's the person made in the image and likeness of Christ, who is God. I think we have to really understand that, because when you read the life of Josephine Bakhita and you see that she was sold into slavery and how they treated her physical body and how they abused her verbally, physically, sexually, and mentally, you say to yourself, why? Why would anyone do this? Today there's a word that we use called human trafficking. Have you ever heard of that word? Human trafficking. Look that up. It's when people who have evil motives that take people, especially the young, and use them for immoral purposes. And they do things to them that are horrific. They treat them like animals and less like animals. Oh, because I say that because, people love animals. Don't they love little dogs and puppies and horses? Well, why do they do these things with people? Now, this is such a sad state of affairs that goes on even to this day. I was talking to Peggy today about this, and she was saying, sad to say, it goes on today. We have to be very conscious of this. Human trafficking. Maybe you see it on some of the TV shows, the police shows, that they have human trafficking episodes in which you think to yourself, why would any kid be caught up in that? Even the kids that roam the streets like of big cities, and people are on the lookout. That's why they should always be with another person. That's why you should always listen to our parents, right? Who tell us exactly what to do, where to be, so you're not in a situation prone to that. Be caught into slavery, modern day slavery, right? And then sold, and then used and abused in a terrible, horrific way for the profit of those people who do such a thing against the human person. Well, Josephine Bakhita was one of those people that those things happened to. Thank God a family really rescued her from that. She was converted by their faith. They were Catholics. And she was converted by the example that they showed her, the love they showed her. That family took her in and cared for her as they would for Jesus Christ. When I was hungry, you gave me to eat. When I was thirsty, you gave me to drink. When I was imprisoned within human trafficking, you came to visit me and rescued me. When did we do this, Lord? Whenever you did it to the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it to me. And how beautiful this example is. So remember the gospel today about the healing touch of Jesus. There can be so much good in this world done by us. And at the same time, you see all the evil. So with all that evil, let's take the example of Christ and use the beautiful gift of compassion, warmth, and love, the embrace of a loved one, the smile of someone, the handshaking of someone, the welcoming and the hospitality of somebody can reverse the anger and the hate against the human person. I was saying to the people at Mass, they were bringing everybody to Christ in their human person, in their human flesh. They even took mats and brought them to him so that he could touch them. The human touch, the grace of a human touch is so healing. Look at all the people who work in the medical field, especially today. The human touch is so comforting. It reassures us that someone's there that loves us. How beautiful the human touch of Christ that comes through these people and comes through you and me. Even the human call to call somebody, the letter, a note. It makes the heart really feel so good, and we're warmed because of that kind touch. Have you ever seen that happen? Did you ever notice when people smile, when they embrace each other, kiss each other, shake each other's hand, pat each other on the back? What a world of difference than the hate that Josephine Bakhita experienced. The hate that many people, especially children and the most vulnerable, experience at the hands of people who are evil, that want to hurt, hit, slap, beat, rape, abuse. That has to be stopped at all cost. We know it within the life of the church, and we know it in the life of society, and we know it in the life of course, schools, and whether they be public schools or private schools. We know it in the lives of people's homes. We know it in scouts. We know it in every sector of society. We have to do something about it. And thank God we're doing so much good now. We are doing so much good now that we are stopping this. We're stopping this so that people could live with a dignity and the gift of human pride as a gift from God, especially the young and the most vulnerable. You know, the old, even in nursing homes, right? So we know how the human person can be attacked on all levels, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually. They could be attacked. It happens. We have to make sure we put into place things that will immediately stop those horrific actions by evil people. We have to. That's our responsibility. And we can't just dismiss it as, oh, that happens over there. It doesn't happen here. No, we have to make sure. We have to make sure. So when I always preach about these things, I always want to make sure that I never say that happens over here and over there. Because as a priest, you know, I don't want to be saying it happens over there and it happens over there. I want to say, oh, no, it happens here too, in the life of the church. Well, we all know that. And we have to make sure it never happens again. I don't want to just make sure that the church lives in this box that it never happens, right? We have to make sure that the church holds up itself to a high standard. This should be a safe haven for people. And believe me, I'm not saying this because I'm a Catholic priest, but it really has become a beautiful safe haven in now a lot of our parishes and schools. I mean, we have put into place things that will really make sure that if anything happened, a red flag would go up. And we should. Why shouldn't we? We should always be very vigilant. Well, it happens in society, in public schools, in private schools, in scouts, in people's homes. It happens everywhere, doesn't it? We all have to work together. And you know where it happens? In the womb of a mother. And unfortunately, our country doesn't see this. They may work toward the people outside of the womb, barely, but they don't work toward the people in the womb. Aren't they people too? Isn't a baby in the womb a person? Shouldn't we care about them? See, Josephine Bakhita was cut. I don't want to go into graphic details, but so is that person in the womb cut and destroyed. Abortion, in one sense, is human trafficking. Because something's happening there that's robbing them of a life. Even they get nervous and they get scared when an instrument comes into the womb, they pull away. It's a different type of human trafficking. It's murder. It's abuse. It's child abuse. So from womb to tomb and every stage therein, let's be very vigilant and let's be very much on the mark in naming it and claiming it for what it is. Wherever it takes place. The Archdiocese of Philadelphia has become very vigilant in this area. You already know that. People can't enter into a Catholic campus, a parish campus, a school campus, one of our institutions without being fully vetted. Many people say, how are we going to get volunteers? Oh my gosh, they're making it harder and harder. Let it be done. Because if we didn't do that, then are we caring about the individuals entrusted to our care? I mean, we went from here to here in the area of protecting youth and young adults and protecting children. When I say youth and young adults, I'm talking about sexual harassment. I'm talking about grooming. I'm talking about all of those things. And then I'm talking about protecting children. I'm making sure that the human person is respected in all stages of development, within the womb, outside of the womb, until natural death. We can't just talk the talk, we have to walk the walk. And that is crucial. I want to talk to you about all this because today the church celebrates a woman who we go to in prayer to help us. Josephine Bakhita. We go to her and we ask her intercession to help the world, society, families, and the church in this area. Wherever there's human beings, there are going to be opportunities for sin. But more importantly, opportunities for grace. And we should use all the weapons that we have to fight off evil. The intercessions of the saints, our prayer life, adoration, Holy Mass, confession. These are the spiritual weapons to fight off evil. This is not just a fantasy. This is not a fairy tale. This is not, oh, isn't that nice? Let's just pray and it'll go away. No, it's both and. Prayer and work. Prayer and work. We're not living a life of illusion. We're living in a life of reality. So that's why I want to just talk seriously today during this reflection. of the holy woman, Saint Josephine Bakhita. Yes, she experienced the cross. Ugh. A terrible victim, but someone who rose from it, just like Jesus rose from the cross, and how people have helped her, gave her the faith, introduced her to Christ, and now a beautiful instrument for all of us. Well, let's do our work. Let's be vigilant, huh? All of us, laymen and women, deacons and priests, religious sisters, society, all people of common good. Let us be very vigilant to respect the human person from the first moment of conception all the way to natural death and every stage in between. And let us understand good touch and bad touch. Good touch is from Jesus. It brings about healing like Jesus did. It brings about comfort like Jesus did. It brings about life like Jesus did. That's what we're about. And that's what we should always be about. Especially as the Eucharist touches our mouth, touches our hands. We have to be very clear about the beautiful touch of Jesus to combat the evil touch of Satan. That's our prayer today. And that's what we go to St. Josephine Bakhita for all the time. So let's think about that, everybody, okay? On this day, her memorial, Josephine Bakhita, pray for us. Have a nice day, everybody.